The people getting scammed are only upset that they weren't able to do that first.
Pump Fund makes 390,000 Solana.
I feel like crypto Twitter is just one big trauma bond. Pump Fund can and will eventually be replaced.
Hi guys, and welcome to What's the Meta? I'm your host, Ryan S, Gladwin, and I'm joined by Reza. How you doing, mate?
Doing great. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm doing all good as well, man. So today we were going to talk about, do people care about getting scammed? The sort of background to this is with the rise of Pump.Fun and Sahil tokens and celebrity meme coin tokens sort of taking off. It feels like more often than not, these are scams. People know that they're pump and dumps, but people still invest in them. It leads us to the question, do people care about getting scammed? Reza, do you think people care?
I think that people hope that they're not going to get scammed, but it doesn't seem to stop people from gambling. I don't think people care that the majority of tokens are scam tokens. And if they do care, they're not putting their money where their mouth is by not buying them.
Especially on Pump.Fun, it feels like more often than not, I'd love to see a stat in this. More often than not, those projects are going to get dumped by the dev in a short amount of time, rather than being long-term legit projects. To be honest, we're kind of seeing a trend of devs dumping on their investors and that being used as a selling point of why the project's like sort of fun. That kind of is what happened with Billy. The dev dumped really early on and people did a CTO, and CTOs are sort of a big thing that's happening in the meme coin space now, but it's sort of like getting dumped on is sort of the fun part of crypto to some people. Like you see people on Twitter always banging on about like, just got dumped again. It seems like people kind of enjoy it in like a weird little way. Or do you think it's a coping mechanism maybe?
I think it's a coping mechanism, and it's also like a form of trauma bonding. You know, it's like
Yeah.
you looking for other people who have experienced the same trauma, you know, and I feel like crypto Twitter or crypto X is just one big trauma bond. You know, like everyone is just repeatedly going to war, getting shot in the face, and trying again, doing the exact same thing over and over again. And like you either have to laugh at it or understand that it's kind of insane that you're doing it at all.
I suppose the reason why people are investing in this is because they are risky assets. There's a reason why they're not just investing in the S&P 500, which isn't going to be a rug pull anytime today. There's a huge upside, but the downside is maybe smaller in a lot of these people's eyes. Like getting completely rug pulled is maybe a smaller downside than going 1000x on a small amount of money.
Yeah, I agree. And how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 25.
25. So I think that I'm a little bit older than you. I'm 32. But I think people like my age and younger have kind of been born into this world where the rules and the playbook that we were taught to follow to have like a good, successful life don't really matter anymore. Like it doesn't work, you know, like you're not going to get a normal 9-to-5 job and get a retirement account and be able to live comfortably off of that and buy a house in the United States or wherever you are. And it's just not feasible anymore. It used to be very normal that people would just work a really regular job and retire comfortably. And now I think that the majority of people in my generation and your generation don't really see that as an option. And it's kind of led to this like financial nihilism that we're seeing. That's just you know, people don't really care anymore. And they're just like, okay, I'm not going to retire off the S&P. I'm not even going to retire off buying property. I can't afford property. And if I buy it, like most property just tracks with inflation. Like if you look at the rate of inflation in US property, it tends to just match. So you're just preserving wealth there. You're not really gaining it. And I think that a lot of people in our age groups are kind of discovering crypto and meme coins and scam coins and being like, hey, like I might get scammed, but at least it's an honest scam. You know, it's like in my face. You know, like I could get scammed for years by like an employer or something, not making enough and being sold a dream. But at least this, like it's very clearly defined. And I'll know if I got scammed when it goes to zero. You know, like the rules of engagement are clear.
Yeah, like the other day I sent you it. There was literally a meme coin called Scam. And people were aping into it. Like, people didn't care. I'm glad you brought up that idea of financial nihilism, actually. I spoke to a hedge fund manager. I think the hedge fund is called Stratos. They invested in Dog with Hat when it was really early on, and they made a lot of money off of it. I was speaking to one of the guys there, and they were basically saying the reason why they believe in meme coins is because of this whole financial nihilism thing going on with sort of, Gen Z and that sort of generation. I think that is sort of the whole thing that pushes the meme coin market, if I'm honest. I can't see many other like deep philosophical reasons. Obviously, there's other reasons like a dog is cute. But like, if we're really going to like boil it down to like a financial thing moving this, I think it's financial nihilism. If you're a developer in this space, not like a legit developer trying to build something really important that's going to really push crypto on, just sort of a pump.fun developer, should you feel sympathy for your investors who aren't able to secure a bag in your investment and you are?
I feel like I'm going to lose some points here. But I did just say I'm a financial nihilist, so I don't think a developer should feel bad. And that's because, like, we've talked about this a bit in the past, but like, if you are capable, if you're educated enough to load up a Phantom wallet or a Telegram trading bot, find Pump Fun, use Pump Fun. Like, it's hard to get transactions to go through on Solana sometimes. Like, you need to be pretty savvy to be getting into these sales at like a reasonable entry. And if you're savvy enough to do that, you're savvy enough to know exactly what you're doing and all the risks that entails. Also, let's take a step back and think about the mind of someone who's getting scammed. So a coin launches, right? Most of the time when a dev rug pulls, he's not even really rug pulling. He or she is just selling the tokens that they have, right? The people getting scammed are only upset that they weren't able to do that first. They want to do the exact same thing the dev wants to do. They're just hoping that he gives them enough time that they're able to make some profit too. So like, it's such a predatory game, and like, you have to know it's a predatory game when you're going in. Either you're looking at it as a predatory game or like complete gambling. You know, like, these are not sound investments. There's very obviously no fundamentals of any kind. You know, like, this is, I don't know, it's just, it's the nature of the game you're playing. You know, like, I feel like if you want to 1000x potential returns on fucking, I don't know, like, you know, dick token, then you gotta accept the possibility that it might go to zero. What do you think?
On your point, I agree to an extent. Like, for sure, how else is a dev going to make money, right? On a Pump Fund token, it is sort of where we're talking about here. Like, obviously, if you're making a legit project, you can make money in different ways. For example, I spoke to the Dare dev that set himself on fire to pump his Truth or Dare token, and I was speaking to him about when that whole thing was going on. I was in the Telegram chat, and there was just a lot of people just sort of saying like, when's the price going to go up even more? And like, this guy's in hospital. Like, he nearly died. I put to him like, how do you feel about people trying to like make a profit off the back of you? And he was like, oh, that's just kind of crypto, right? Like, there's two options, buy and sell. How are you going to be mad at someone selling? And to an extent, with a Pump Fund token, after it's launched, there's nothing else they can do other than run a Twitter account, run a Telegram account, and buy and sell tokens. So yeah, to an extent, it's fair enough that they sell. But if the dev owns 50% of the supply on launch and then sells it all in one go, completely rug pulls everyone, then maybe they should feel kind of bad for their investors.
The thing with the meme coins right now is that if the dev doesn't own 50% of the supply, it's probably not going to do very well. Because like, what basically the way that these guys are like bootstrapping them is like, yeah, one reason they'll snipe so much of the supply is because, yes, they want to own a bunch of the supply and be able to sell and make as much money as possible. The other reason is like, the supply shock of it actually creates like a lot more upward movement. When people start buying, the chart starts shooting up a lot faster because 50% of the supply is essentially, you know, staked, staked in Dev's wallet. Also, I do want to make it clear that I'm not saying that like I think it's right for people to scam people in general. I just think that like you don't go into a casino and get upset if you lose money. And I feel like when you go to Pump Fun, you have to know you're stepping into a casino. And if you think it's anything other than that, like you're lying to yourself. I don't think that projects that raise a bunch of money and build a community around a promise and like a shared vision of the future, if they scam their communities, that is really dirty to me. But meme coins, at least it's honest. You know, like they're not selling like, we're gonna build a AAA game and we're gonna, you know, buy the Constitution and all this shit. Like, they're just like, hey, this is a funny dog. I like this dog. I hope you like this dog.
Yeah. I spoke to someone. He claims, I haven't fact checked this at all, but for the moment, we'll pretend it's true. He claims that he's made millions of dollars off the back of tracking Sahil's wallets. He basically says that when Sahil creates a token, before he's tweeted about it, before it's gone into his Telegram chats, he's been tracking his wallets and just immediately buys these tokens. And most of these Sahil tokens fall to zero within days of being out. So he knows that he's investing in a scam, if you want to call it that. He knows that he's entering a casino. At that point, if he loses his money, I have less sympathy for that type of investor compared to, yeah, someone who is investing in a project that has like grandiose plans and stuff like that. But for that investor that knows what they're investing in, knows they're walking into a casino, should they be legally protected is sort of the question here that keeps coming to my head. Because we've seen some people get arrested and charged for orchestrating pump and dumps. But in scenarios where the investors know that it's a scam, say I made a token saying, do not invest in this, I'm going to rug pull it in one day, and people invest in it and get rug pulled, should they be protected?
I feel like in that specific case, if you're saying like, I've seen coins where it's like, will rug at 10 mil market cap. At that point, it's like performance art. You know, I think those are funny. The will rug ones are like the really blatantly honest ones. It's just making me think of an example. So someone who definitely wasn't me. When Iggy Azalea was dropping her token. So like everyone knew that her token was coming out. No one knew when it was coming out or what token it would be, what the contract address would be. So if you wanted to potentially catch this token before she announced it, you were on Pump Fun buying every Iggy Azalea token that you saw, knowing very well that 99.9999999% of these were complete scams. People, definitely not me, we're still on Pump Fun buying all those tokens, you know, just under the hope of like one of these has to be it. You know, and that's like literal complete gambling, like worse odds than blackjack even, you know, just like throwing darts at a board, hoping one of them hits. Like someone who's doing that, I feel like definitely has to know like, okay, you know, I understand what I'm doing. I understand the risks. Like, I feel like the risks are pretty apparent out here, but I don't know, maybe I've just been around too long and I don't understand how like naive people can be.
Yeah. Because in many ways, like those tokens that weren't the Iggy Azalea token that were launching around the time, you could suggest that there were like false advertising and then eventually maybe a rug pull further down the line. Yeah, from your perspective, you knew, definitely not your perspective, that investor knew that they were investing in something that is more than likely going to go to zero. I feel like it's a waste of government time or regulators' time to even investigate those sort of scenarios. There's already not enough legal action happening within the crypto space. There are really legitimate rug pulls happening that are issues that I feel like regulators should just ignore. Ones where sort of the expectation of gambling is high. I think we should just ignore them.
I agree, but I think that they won't. You know, like they're gonna go after whatever I think. I don't know. So I was gonna say they're gonna go after what they think will get the most attention, make the biggest splash, and like set the biggest precedent. But also over the past couple of years, do you remember the UkiDAO case?
No, I don't.
I'd never even heard of UkiDAO, and they went after UkiDAO, which really surprised me because it wasn't like a gigantic DAO or anything like that. It was a really scary case because they made the case. I don't know if this is concluded or if it's still ongoing, but the case that the government was trying to make against UkiDAO was that any person who ever voted on a proposal was legally liable for the actions of the DAO.
Damn.
You know, it's like,
what about if you voted against, like, I don't know exactly what the DAO did wrong, but in the scenario that the DAO did an illegal act that they voted on, and then you voted against that act, you are still legally liable?
I think so, because you're participating in guiding the direction of the company, you know, like you're contributing to the company's decision making.
I suppose in a traditional business structure, if a business does something illegal and you're on the board and you vote against the illegal action, you're still part of the company that is going to get sanctioned. So yeah, wow, that's crazy.
I was really surprised that they went after them, and also kind of like disheartened that you're going to let all this other crazy shit happen. And then, but I know nothing about UkiDAO. I don't know if they were doing shady stuff or not, but it's just kind of rubbed me the wrong way because I was like, why are you going after a DAO for DAO stuff? You know?
Pump Fun has sort of become synonymous with this space. It's the meme coin space to me at the moment is ran by Pump Fun. Like it feels like most of the new meme coins that sort of skyrocketing, think Billy, Michi, even the Iggy Azalea tokens are coming from Pump Fun. Do you think there will ever be a meme coin factory, we've called it at Decrypt, like Pump.Fun, sort of like challenge it in any way? Because we had Dex Screener launch Moonshot and it's still getting completely dwarfed by Pump Fun.
How dwarfed? I kind of assumed the Dex Screener version would do well. I'm surprised.
So did I, because it feels native to what you're wanting there, right? You're already on Dex Screener. Once it goes to Radium from Pump Fun, it also ends up on Dex Screener, and that's sort of like the point where you stop using Pump Fun, right? Yeah. You don't really use that chart. Coins created, this was 2 days ago from right now. Pump Fun created 10,400 tokens. Moonshot created 1,600. It's like completely getting dwarfed. Doesn't really make sense because everything was in its favor to challenge it, but it hasn't in quantity at least.
What does Moonshot look like?
This was something I was thinking about. I think aesthetic is important, right? Like Pump Fun looks like 4chan.
Backing up to your original question, I do think that Pump Fun can and will eventually be replaced. One of my favorite things about crypto is that like we tend to dethrone the king very often. You know, it's very PvP, and like if you can come up with better features and functionalities, you'll probably win. Again, I thought Moonshot would have been more successful. My theory, if I had to come up with a theory about this, it is based on aesthetics. So like when you're going to a casino or when you're gambling online, slots that look shittier have better payouts. And the reason why is that the slots that look shittier don't capture attention as well, because like there's not as much fancy animations or graphics. Like usually, like if you're at a slot machine, all the animations and graphics, they're making dopamine go off in your head. It's keeping you at the slot machine. When they look really shitty, they have to make the payouts better and the odds better so that when you're doing it, you're getting the dopamine from somewhere else. And I wonder if it's a similar thing when people just kind of like subconsciously have that embedded in them and they see it and it's like, no, this looks too professional. There can't be anything good.
I get what you're saying. To me, Moonshot looks, too professional, too sort of well put together. Like if I was a dev that was hypothetically going to do a pump and dump, I don't think I would want to do it on Moonshot. I'd be kind of scared. I feel like the feds would be more likely to look at it. But for me, when it comes to aesthetics, I think what Pump Fun has in its favor is it just looks like 4chan. And I think a lot of the crypto space were raised on 4chan, or maybe they didn't even go on 4chan, but they look back on it fondly. The way it looks with the text thread and all of that, you don't have that on Moonshot.
There's too many buttons, you know?
So what would it take for something to dethrone Pump Fun?
I think like a simple UI similar to Pump Fun. You know, Pump Fun's real easy. You got to be real stupid to not figure out how it works. I think it's just going to take time because people are going to stick with Pump Fun until they hear about a coin mooning on Moonshot or mooning on one of these other platforms. Then as soon as one token blows up, I think a lot of people will come in. It's just a matter of like one dev who's got a good track record of launching meme coins, deciding to launch a project on Moonshot and it doing really well. I didn't hear about Pump Fun. I heard about coins that blew up off of Pump Fun before I heard about Pump Fun. And that's how I discovered it. A successful coin is like your top of the funnel marketing for these platforms. And like right now, they're still looking for that top of the funnel marketing.
On that point, maybe I'm using Moonshot wrong, but I actually can't see their highest market cap tokens. I think that's a real missed opportunity there. Like going on Pump.Fun, I do it almost daily when I'm working, is I log on to Pump Fun and I look at the highest market cap coins and see if anything's risen up there. Like Aura token recently just sort of jumped up there and I was like, oh, okay, that's something I should be paying attention to. On Moonshot, you can't do that. You've got trending top, but that's in terms of progress on getting to radium. So it feels all a bit jarring.
It's just different. I think people will get used to it. And they're probably making so much money still. Like even though Pump Fun, I've only heard this colloquially shared. I've never seen in writing what Pump Fun makes a day, but I've heard numbers anywhere from like $300K to $3 million a day on fees. Again, I've never verified any of that information. Don't take my word for it.
There's a Dune dashboard here that says Pump Fun makes just shy of 400,000 Solana. It's 390,000 Solana in revenue that it makes. That's total. And then daily, it's like around 4,500 Solana. Moonshot is making around 200 Solana a day.
It's $26,000 a day.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Can't complain.
800 grand a month, like that's a fantastic fucking business.
Yeah.
Really, consumer apps in crypto are just like so insanely profitable. It's like kind of unfortunate that the biggest product market in crypto is like building tools for degens in crypto, but really I haven't seen anything else that's more profitable.
Yeah, no, it feels like this bull run has been that, right? Everything has been geared towards degens. I feel like Pump Fun is the most successful thing that I've seen sort of emerge this year. I can't think of anything else. Like you've got Fantasy Top was pretty successful.
I'd say BonkBot probably too. Like I'm not sure if Bonk is the biggest, but whatever is the biggest of all those Telegram bots. Like, and that's something I really made fun of too. I was not a believer in Telegram trading bots. I talked so much shit about Telegram trading bots. And I was like, this is never going to work. People are not going to trust having their wallet in a Telegram chat and all this and that and this. And I was mid-curve. I just mid-curved it. Should have farmed that airdrop. Should have bought the token.
Going back to your point of, it does feel like one of the reasons why Pump Fund is so successful is because of their successful tokens that they've had, right? It was particularly interesting to me that a bunch of celebrities used Pump Fund to launch their tokens. The Sahil ones all came through Pump Fund. And to be honest, I think that came from ease of access. Like, it's so easy to launch a token on Pump Fund. He claims it's because of like the cultural element of it, which I do actually see, where you do launch it and then you have that thread underneath it and you're immediately gaining buzz. But someone like Iggy Azalea, she could have launched that using anything. She didn't have to use Pump Fund. It's interesting that all of them are flocking to Pump Fund.
Well, like, think of the technical capabilities of these people, you know? Like, think about how this happens. 9 times out of 10, you've got a rapper or a celebrity, and they have either like someone in their camp, like a random friend who's kind of crypto savvy, or like a sibling. In the case of Iggy Azalea, like her younger brother, it's a random person. It's not even anyone on their like business team. I'm making some assumptions, but like from my experience of what I've seen happen, it's like I've never seen Jason Derulo's management team weren't like, okay, we got to get a meme coin out. You know, like it was probably just like a cousin or a younger brother, or like someone on his team who was just like one of his friends from back in the day or something like that was like, hey, like, have you seen this crypto stuff? He's like, I could do it for you. We don't even need to hire anyone. We don't need to split this money with anyone. We don't need a dev, you know? And they just go on Pump Fund and they launch it and golden. It's so easy now.
Yeah, from my conversations with Sahil, it sounds like what he does is he reaches out to the celebrity's sort of manager of their social media, or the manager of their deals partner manager or something like that. He basically has a whole conversation with them. Then I can't remember what one it was, but there was one token that he launched. The celeb kicked back at, as they all do. The celeb came out and said, I had nothing to do with this. It was all because of my partner's manager, and they just sort of dangled a load of money in front of them. I guess the question, going back to what you were saying of it's just easy, is there an issue with being able to make a financial instrument like a meme coin this easily? Like, should we be concerned that we can do this? Like, you couldn't have just made a stock back in the day like this.
I'm going to get a little philosophical here. So, like, should it be easy? I'm even going to put my feet up, too. Should it be easy? I don't know. The reality is, yes, it's a little more difficult to get a stock listed, to take a company public. It's not very difficult to, like, buy a company that's a shitty penny stock that's got, like, no value in it, just, like, completely change it and do it. And people do that all the time. I've been close to companies that I've seen do stuff like this, where they're like, hey, we're going to buy this like decrepit ticker and basically turn it into a crypto company. And it's going to be the first publicly traded so-and-so, you know, like they're just like reskinning old stocks and like basically making meme coins on the stock market. Taking a further step back and getting even more philosophical, the whole reason I got in this industry in the first place was because I was like, why am I going to go into something like finance where there's decades and decades of gatekeepers and generations of families and people who have kind of mastered this game already? They have all the keys, you know, like if this was a video game, they're already level 100 dark mages with like the most epic gear anyone could get. Why am I going to come into that game as a newbie and feel like I can compete or ever reach the same level as those guys? I didn't feel like I could. So I went into crypto where I felt like it's young, I can compete here. So like along that same train of thought, like if they're able to do this, then why can't we? You know, like I don't believe that like the checks and balances in place to stop fuckery from happening in the stock market really work anymore. Should we have this power? I don't know. But if we shouldn't have it, then I don't think anyone should have it. This isn't something that I think should be like kept away from people and only given to a certain class. Like the whole accredited investor thing is bullshit. Having to be an accredited investor before making, you know, certain types of investments is just like a way to try and keep poor people poor, in my opinion. The kind of investments I got access to as a non-accredited investor were a lot more scammy and sketchy than the types of investments I got access to as an accredited investor. It doesn't protect anyone from anything. It just makes people go buy meme coins.
Yeah, you don't have to be an accredited investor to buy to buy a pump fund token.
If they just made people click a box, like, I understand that everything here is a joke. I understand that like 99% of these are probably going to go to zero. Like, I wonder if that would get around like the legal aspects of it. Because I don't feel like crypto people really care.
I feel like anyone who's investing in any meme coin, maybe ever, like including Dogecoin at this point, like I feel like people just are like, yeah, this isn't real. This has like no fundamentals. This means nothing. I guess one issue that can come up though, sort of you've written about this before, is these people are making meme coins off of pictures they find fun or funny or cute that they found on the internet. And 99% of the time, that's an estimate, but I think that's probably right. They don't own the photo or the rights to the photo. And I guess that's an issue. Imagine you're invested in Shark Cat is what we're talking about here. You're invested in Shark Cat. It's no longer just like a small market cap pump fund token. It's now like an established meme coin. And then all of a sudden the owner of the cat comes along and says, no, we don't want you using my cat for this meme coin. We don't like how you're representing it. Take this down. That doesn't happen in this story. But in the scenario that they got their right of way and the meme coin like ceased to exist at that point, I guess that's an issue for investors and the devs and the pet owner in this scenario, right?
It's a tough, tricky situation. Because it's also like, if the coin doesn't do well, then no one cares, you know? So it's like, it's also tough that it's like you're a victim of your own success. If I didn't hear about how the Shark Cat community takeover team was talking to the founder, or not the founder, the owner of Shark Cat.
The founder of the cat.
The founder of the cat, yeah. I probably would have like defaulted to siding with Shark Cat and that like, oh, like get that legal stuff out of here, you know? But like just hearing about how, so like for some context, I wrote a story about Shark Cat, a coin that features a picture of Nala Cat, who's like the biggest cat on Instagram. Nala Cat's owners started a bunch of brands around her. She's got like cat clothes, cat food, cat toys. They're sold in Walmart, really big brands. So like this was a case where a meme coin popped up and it was using copyrighted IP. So like a lot of times, like if I post a picture of my dog on Instagram and someone takes it, like I haven't done anything to protect my dog's rights or likeness. There's nothing really I can do at all. But in the case where you have legitimate brand and copyright and all these, you know, protections in place, like they were in a really unique position where they could do it. It was a tough situation. Again, I would have defaulted to siding with the Shark Cat guys, but seeing how like the people in this community takeover were just so rude to this woman, it made me feel bad because I felt like it was making me as a crypto person look bad. I was like, well, I don't want someone to come into this industry and have this experience. You know, this makes all of us look bad. This makes the whole industry look bad. The Shark Cat people got like really upset for a while. They've settled it amicably. They now officially have the rights, and the Nala Cat team, they hope for nothing for the best but the best for Shark Cat. So it's all settled. Everything's good.
Nice.
Don't come after me, Shark Cat community, please. I'm not fudding. You guys are good. There's no more stuff to worry about.
I guess in a weird way, the whole nature of memes is sort of copy and pasting, stealing other people's content and using it as your own. Like Pepe is a perfect example. Matt Furry, the guy who is the creator of Pepe, I guess, he basically created a whole bunch of comics. Yeah, Pepe got repurposed in the meme world before it became a crypto token. He wasn't happy about it. And there's a whole documentary about this of how he wanted to reclaim Pepe as a character, and ultimately he failed. He tried to go the legal route. And it does feel like a lot of memes sort of are just copy and pasting someone else's artwork. And it's kind of an accepted thing in like the meme art world. But when you start adding like a financial instrument to that meme, then it gets a little bit complicated.
Everyone wants a piece when there's money involved.
Yeah. But was that the issue with Shark Cat? Was it the fact that they'd seen people making money off of their cat that they weren't getting involved with? Or was it more about like the culture around the cat? They couldn't control what the branding was?
The owner's stance was that it was around the branding and like the culture, and that they didn't really like that. They didn't share the details of the agreement they came to with Shark Cat. I think they wanted to remain private, but I don't believe they got like a big payout or anything like that. Like I think that what they wanted was creative control to an extent. You know, they just wanted to, the one thing they like brought up repeatedly was like, oh, like we went in there and there was a emoji of our cat with a boner, and like we just really didn't like the, you know, it's brands about love and peace, and He's got an AK-47 in this picture, like, you know.
Yeah, I guess a boner is loving peace.
That's true.
Maybe not an AK-47. One of my best mates has recently got a cat. It's one of the cutest cats I've ever seen. And I've been telling him he needs to make a meme coin, man, because someone's going to make it about his cat. And he's going to be upset that he's not making money off his cat.
And like you said, just try it over and over again. You know, like, I'm sure that there were millions of Pepe coins launched before the Pepe that we all know now, like, blew up. You know, there was probably so many with the exact same ticker, no creative differences. That's another thing that I don't really understand. Or I guess I do understand it, is that there's not really a lot of rhyme or reason. The only times coins do well where it's predictable is when it's completely run by insiders. They snipe 50% of the supply and they're like coordinating buys and sells. Ironically, I feel like what most people want is a coin that's being run by insiders. Because when it's run by a group of people that are like launching coins as a business, they're at least letting it run long enough for them to make enough profit to make it worth it. Whereas when you get like the random basement devs, they're rugging at like 10K market cap. The only times these things succeed is when it's completely run and like manipulated by insiders, or complete random chance, you know, just like this just happened to do well.
It's interesting what you said about the insiders thing. It kind of loops this all the way back to the beginning, right? In a sense, if you're investing in something where there's a bunch of insiders that artificially inflating the price or like orchestrating the price inflation, and then at a certain point they're planning on pulling all their liquidation out and rug pulling everyone, right? That is a scam by definition. But people, like you said, may want to be investing in those tokens. I guess, to me at least, all of this boils down to people don't care about investing in a scam. People just don't want to get scammed. All they want to do is they want to invest in a Ponzi scheme early on and then sell it at the top. That's all you want to do. That's the dream, right?
You just got to get into a Ponzi early enough. You know, that's really what it's like. Even if someone rugs at 500K and you got in at 50K on pump fund, that's 10x. Put in one soul, make 10. It's not a bad day. You know, like, and that's like just running to 5. That's not even hitting 1 million. You know, like you hit 1 million, you're 20x. Where else? Where and what other? How else are you going to get those kind of returns? And that's why people keep doing it. And I think you absolutely nailed it. If people don't mind investing in scams, they just don't like getting scammed. They know they're not going to last. But like, also, like, slight side point to that is, would you prefer buying a token that rugs in less than an hour and goes to zero, or would you rather buy a token that actually tries and you just slowly watch your money go to zero over like 2 years?
Yeah, I'd rather it be quick.
I'll take the scam. Like, if at the end of the day we're playing an attention game, and if the people suck at playing the attention game, it doesn't matter if they're trying to scam or not, it's still going to zero.
As long as you're not going to pull your money out in either scenario, because I guess in the second one you could say, if it's taken 2 years and it's down 80%, maybe I'll take my money out and I've saved 20. But I think at that point I actually would probably be completely nihilistic. I'd say I don't care about that 20% of my investment. There's a chance this goes back to where it was. So I think I'd rather it be quick. I feel like that's the perfect place to end it.
This was a lot of fun. I genuinely enjoyed this conversation. Happy to talk about meme coins whenever.
Thank you very much, mate.
Thanks.